Come on. We live, Barry.
I'm just being honest. Connecting with the Black experience is the most disliked popular guy, Barry Axius, with back in the building from a Queen's retreat of working, celebrating, and building the effervescence spectacular Queen Mama Ro. What's up with the love? What's up with the sister? What's up with the goddess? What's up with the goddess?
Look, I feel just more recharged. There was something about Louisiana.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Did you get your COVID-19 check-in before you get back into California?
No. We had to all wear masks like in the airport.
Oh, snap.
You know, when I got my Juneteenth face mask, which is dope, that Javon them had made. And there was no extras because I was going to try to get some extras, but there was no extras. So It was awesome. I have to say this. I put a post up that said most of us left down south only to find down north and down west in terms of the mindset of culture. And down there, Black folks, most of them own their own stuff in Louisiana. They own property down there. So they don't have the problem we have up here with home ownership. They own their land for the most part. They just struggling with, which we're all struggling with, is how do you get Black folks to come together and work with each other instead of working against each other, which allows your enemy to still reign at the end of the day. So that's a struggle that's happening with Black folks all over the place. But I think sometimes because we don't do those sit down, let's get it in, let's all get to this table. We love to talk about family, but we don't sit down at the damn table as family. We don't get to say, let me sit down with Barry, because this is what I think about Barry. And you know, let me find out who Barry really is. I did a lot of different stuff down in Louisiana. And one of the things that I realized, people realize themselves, is that sometimes we have a lot of misconceptions of people. People felt some kind of way, or we don't realize that people have feelings and emotions, and we don't get to talk about that or allow people the opportunity to share what was happening with them. We don't do that for the most part. We just assume that we know you. But the beauty of being in Louisiana, it was Juneteenth. Sister Javon been down there over a year. She's the CEO of 5 federally qualified clinics through Southwest Louisiana, Lake Charles, and a couple of other places. And what they do 7 days of Juneteenth. The first day they did food safety justice. They did gardening. They gave away over 250 plants, like growing food plants. They did home gardening. The next day they did a unity sermon at a church, and they did COVID testing at all of these churches throughout their different areas. And then they did a unity sermon, which was really good because I'm not even into sermons like that. But the sermons the brothers did were spot on. And I think people needed to hear that, especially in their congregation. Then the next day they did, basically, we gonna work it out. They pulled together all these different Black community leaders and influences, and they got it in and got some air cleared on a lot of stuff, which is what we should be doing as Black people. Then the next day they had a men's health day at the clinic. They had a women's health day the next day. The following day they did a teletown hall, which I hosted, where they had a brother who was a doctor from New Orleans, a sister who was over the health department in Detroit, another minister that's really influential in the community, and then Sister Javon. They talked about health disparities, and the whole lot was great. Then the last day they did a drive-through at their clinic, like a movie drive-in, where they played Princess and the Frog for the kids. They had concession stands, popcorn, and everything else. And then they did fireworks, like you would do fireworks on the 4th of July. And that was so dope. I just was that's my second year being a part of this. And that's how we should be celebrating Juneteenth. Because I think sometimes in our everyday life, we get caught up with our everyday stuff, and we don't even understand that's about maybe 90 miles away from Galveston, which is where Juneteenth originated at. We don't even celebrate our ancestors in terms of what it must have felt like for them. So for me, when I seen the fireworks going off, I thought in my mind, imagine our ancestors who were struggling in those fields to realize that they didn't really have to do that anymore under slavery.
Yeah.
Even though we know things didn't change right away, but there is something about feeling like you maybe getting closer to your freedom. And I think sometimes as Black folks, we don't think about that. So to see Javon go into Lake Charles, gather up people. I mean, she had folks from all over. I even set the city council meeting when I was down there. Like just watching them get it in made me feel re-energized to figure out how am I now going to move in my own community to a degree. Like I don't know if we could do anything quite like that because in Louisiana, Black folks down there got roots. We don't have a lot of roots in Sacramento.
No.
We just don't. And when you don't have roots, you can't stand. That's why we have such flippy floppy people in our community. Because we don't have roots, and some of us don't respect roots in our community, which is why we struggle. But that's what it was like. I'm so grateful to be a part of something like that. It energized me, touching that soil. It's real. That's all I got to say is real. So that was like for me.
Could I say something?
Jump in there, brother. Jump in there.
Why don't you take me with you?
I go every year. Look, I go every year. So I think next year, well, who knows what's going to be? Sack of Tomatoes is like, Sack of Tomatoes is different, but it's kind of like we should have been doing something along those lines of like, because they looked at healthcare, but from everything from food justice to checking on our blood pressure or what, like all of those things we know that if we don't take care of ourselves, we will not be here, Barry. It's that simple. Most of us are going to die from high blood pressure. Most of us are going to die from diabetes. Most of us are going to die from screaming. But I'm just saying, we got to do a better job of caring for ourselves so we could be here, not just to fight the good fight, but leave something for generations we're never going to see.
I believe it. I'm happy that you was able to get out there. You came back safe. No corona case.
No.
And I had to stay out here anyway. There was too much stuff going on over here anyway. So you know what I mean. Trust me, trust me. You were missed, but there was a lot of action happening, and I think that it's important. I'm happy that Juneteenth was celebrated in a way that it was celebrated. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, of course. Talking about the Juneteenth celebrations, but at the same particular time, when you said something. Black folks was kind of get it in, and Black folks had roots. And I definitely know that there's all roots in Sacramento, not the kind of roots that can kind of build the kind of things that we are looking at, right? But I definitely feel like there's roots. Do you believe out there down south, because segregation is still real, though segregation is real everywhere, you really feel segregation out down south? And the model of down south compared to the model of other areas that are quote unquote more multicultural, more diverse in whatever kind of numbers that you want to play. Do you feel it that because Black people don't have a choice to work together, that more things down there in Louisiana, having Black owned businesses and such, is the reason why niggles haven't converted to a idea of integration, because they already know who is actually the enemy?
Well, let me just tell you this. Where I was, Barry, this is when it was real for me. There were Black people who looked like white people. When I went to the city council meeting, everybody in there looked white to me, from my view, Black Rwanda. And there was one brother on there who sounded like Morgan Freeman. And he even talked like he was the Morgan Freeman. And so there were two other people who was on that city council that were Black too, but they looked like white women. Not until they opened up their mouth did I know they was Black.
Wow.
So they have that kind of dynamic in Lake Charles. I mean, where I was, sometimes you'll see people, they look like white people, blue-eyed, the whole nine, and they open their mouth, and then you immediately know, like, this person Black. Like, you know what I mean? But they have another kind of layer that we don't have. So they have buffer race people there. So you have like Black people, buffer race people, white people. Buffer race people are the people who are mixed or who look a particular kind of way. That's them. So there they have another dynamic. We have it all over the place, but there it's enough of them where they get to be seen as a group. And so we're going to call it the Boule people or Creole and all that other bullshit. But white people clearly know that they're Black. They don't see them as a part of themselves. So it's a little different dynamic, because the struggle is not just with white people. The struggle sometimes is with Black people who don't look like you, but who are you?
Okay.
That shit that sounds a little confused. That to be very honest, like everybody here look white to me except for Morgan Freeman. So, but I'm watching them still struggling, and white people still get to win because we're over here fighting over bullshit, like colorism and classism and like a bunch of bullshit like that. Meanwhile, the powers that be is reigning, and so until we're able to sit down with each other and be like, look, you need to be using that in a different kind of way, or I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, but I just feel like whether if you're out west or down west, as I'm gonna call it, or down north or whatever, it's still the same beast. It's still at the end of the day, they're using the same exact formula. I think about Sacramento. We have a lot of powerful black people here. Mm-hmm. Some who have mouths, some who don't. And my thing is, there's not been a time where we could truly sit down with each other for real. And it may be kind of messy. People may be stopping and crying. But if we're talking about true freedom, see, we in the history, black folks in America have never debriefed on nothing. We free. Let's sit down and talk about this. Oh, we survived the crack era. Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. We survived Jim Crow. We never fucking do that. We came home from Vietnam. Let's talk about what we're gonna do with these vets. We never do that.
World War I, World War II.
Go down all of them. But my thing is like we at some point we have to debrief. And if we're gonna say sister and brother and our people and we the people and do it for the people, God damn it, talk to the people. Listen to the people. Like we gotta be able to sit down and have some strategy. I posted this morning, Barry, the saying that says, nobody misses the warrior until the enemy is at the gate, at your gate. So now here we are in this hour where we know we need warriors. We have warfare happening in Sacramento, and we all downtown marching with white people trying to have a fucking love fest, and we blowing each other away in the other parts of the city. That's not okay.
You funny.
I made you laugh on that, but I'm sorry, Barry. Because it's like we losing too many of ours. And I begin to think, but I see people blowing each other away and they could be like whatever. At some point in that person's life as a kid, they seen violence in a particular kind of way. And it wasn't the violence with white people. It could have been his mama whooping his daddy or his daddy whooping his mama. It could have been relatives fighting. It could have been, we refuse to look at those parts of ourselves and our own contribution to our own violence. And the answer is not white supremacy. And, we just come up with all kind of fancy shit instead of saying we are a nation within the nation. We have to solve our own shit. I'm going to have to sit down with Brother Barry. I'm going to have to sit down with Sister So-and-so. Like if we're family, we're going to have to do that. But that takes courage. That takes you taking your ego and putting that shit on the shelf. Because we're not gaining anything right now. We just came out of Juneteenth. Do we even understand what the fuck that meant? Because most of us is like, well, I don't know about this movement. That's not about the BLM movement. It's Juneteenth, Negro. Read. Ask Alexa. Shit.
Alexa, Juneteenth, please.
Alexa over here is like, what are you talking about? Alexa, you gotta be quiet because I'm on the live right now. But you know what I'm saying? But you can ask her that. So I don't know. It's just so many things. We're going to discuss all this today. But when I was there, I was saying to myself, we are so damn powerful, but then we're so powerless because it's those little things that keep us powerless.
That's what I had that quote. I had that quote I did a meme about that. I said something like, black people have all the power, but we're so powerless because we don't use our power. Something right. That case in point. No, that's what you said was real tough. And before we get into the Juneteenth celebrations and things of that nation, the notion and the idea of being black, niggas have found their new blackness. And I don't want folks to feel that you're getting beat up. It's not about being woke. It's about having a level of consistency to me. I'm perplexed, right, to a lot of different things, to the fact that now, since quarantine, the behaviors of some of our people, and I'm just going to say locally in our area, but it's happened nationally, have continued to be one of the main things that have continue to occupy us, really occupying against the enemy. And I say that in ways of, as much as, some folks like to touch on it as black and black or black on black crime. I don't do it. I don't believe in the notion. I know you do. But I you know what I mean?
You have black business?
Yeah, but
have black on black crime, Barry. You can't
nah. Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to navigate on that. I'm going to navigate on the level of this.
I'll take.
Yeah. For the day, let's love each other for this show.
Good.
I think that it's time, right, that we literally start really doing a real clear mirror check. And I don't think people are going to really like what I have to say, but I have to say it anyway. There's been a few deaths that's happened that have got some top priority in our community. And I know that there was 104 shootings in Chicago this past Father's Day weekend. And it was 104 shootings.
Wow.
104. I believe like 104 shootings. Out of those, 14 people dead. 14 people dead. And that is alarming, but it's not, because it's Chicago. A three-year-old was one of the victims, as well as some young girls as well. Yeah, a 3-year-old was one of the victims. And now, in case in point, you have us moving here in this area, Sacramento, where a young predominant rap star named Briss, his name is Briss, but his real name is Chris. But he took the C out of his name to put the B because he's a blood. That's what they do. So the reality is, this young man just got out of jail, was supposed to be like the next big thing outside of the artist by the name of Mozzie from Oak Park. The next big thing. He gets out, he has 2 kids. He has 2 kids, who's 24 years old. He's going down, he's getting chased in this seemingly continuum of this gang war that we have out here. He's getting chased down, his car crashes. He gets out of his car, he's running. There's literally a videotape of it. It's hard to see, but it's on YouTube, right? Literally. And he's running one way, the car is flipping a bitch and follows him. The other way, he goes into this area that I guess I'm seemingly thinking it's a dead end. One person comes out, gets out the car, and all you see is that one person coming back to the car. So he got gunned down. Now, this young brother, rest in power, but this young brother created the atmosphere and the energy that led to his demise. As hard as it is for people, I know y'all mourning, to believe it and to feel it, these acts of violence from a lot of our young people are acts of violence that are created by a lifestyle they've chosen. And we have to be very clear with this. Right on. And I think that until we start recognizing, as when we and you were growing up, and I don't know about if you had a love affair with Tupac, but I did. Not only knowing the brother, but just kind of, I felt the brother. He was from the area that I was in. There was all of this young black male pain and young black. It was like he was the epitome of what the young black male experience was at that particular time. Not just thugging, but just a sensitive side. Not just a sensitive side, but just a manipulated side. Not just a manipulated side, but an articulation of intelligence and an idea of creating this black revolution with so many in particulars, besides him being a Gemini. But what Tupac always did, he professed his death. His lifestyle, his imagery, his open feuds with several of larger to smaller opponents created the energy that at 25, Tupac laid to rest. At 25 years old, though he did a lot in a short term, 25, he saw his demise because literally he spoke death to life. And what I'm saying is, a lot of our young people are continuing to gravitate to this level because we as a community are still lost in this idea of checking our own. And I think that when we start really seeing the truth in their lyrics, their lifestyles, their behaviors, the people they're around, we truly can identify the actual problem and will be able to critique it in a way that it makes sense to not only the people like myself and you who are trying to be intervention specialists, but also the people that continuously are wearing the RIP shirts, hashtagging long live, and even really believe, as I saw a young man, I'm at the hospital looking at his family, mourn his death, and I see just more recently a small interview with the mother saying that her son was innocent, and all I had to do and say a son wouldn't hurt nobody, and all I had to do is look up her son's name on YouTube, and all through the videos the son is talking about popping niggas, got guns, and all that type of stuff. Now, if y'all want to just say that's just part of entertainment, and that's just a part of being the gangster rapper, I myself say that's bullshit. Because if you're going to deny that some of these young men and women, your babies, are not now hypnotized by demonic curses, we're not being honest about the problem. Yes, we have problems with the police. Yes, we have issues with poverty. Yes, we have issues with education. But I never, ever in my life would ever want to say that my morality and my idea for humanity would change because of these things. Does it make you a savage and vicious because you see so much ignorance, so much poverty, so much pain? I get that. But there has to also be some accountability to where our minds lead us. And a lot of the times, I don't think we put that accountability. We want to create the blame game when we don't identify that some of these lifestyles that our young people are choosing, our older people are continuing to wrap themselves around, to condone, to support, to consume, to glamorize, to lift up, becomes a you and us problem. Not the problem with the man, not the problem with the powers that be. It becomes a problem with our community. And I get tired of channeling these situations where everyone is running out here now, want to be a do-gooder. They want to do marches. They want to do different programming. But the reality is people are doing the work right now, and you're not even supporting the people doing the work right now. We don't need a nuance. What we really need is change in the ideology of some of these people in the community, because a lot of these people have resources. And when it's time for a person to change, it got to come from that person. They have to identify with that, because there are alternatives. And I understand with the families, you don't want to cope with death. But if you stood by and you never spoke ills about what these young people are portraying, whether you say that was just imagery or if it was real, you're not saying nothing about that, then you shouldn't have to say anything about why, what, how. You know why, what, and how. You didn't stop and say something about that behavior because it was cute, because the other side was getting hit, not mine, because that's my baby, because he getting money, because do your thing, youngster. And I think that we have to really take a step back and stop being so sad about the obvious. You choose a gangster street lifestyle, the repercussions and your ends are going to be only a few things: prison, death, a life of obscurity, some homelessness, because you've been so inactive in this lifestyle, you don't know how to do anything else. Or if you're lucky, you transform from a Detroit Red to a Malcolm X, not necessarily Malcolm X in that say, but in return, changing the real man you're supposed to be, and get the opportunity to tell everybody how fucked up and how dumb that shit you were doing was. But the real truth, right now, the levels are really death, and prison. Ain't really too many ways around that. There's not too many that get the golden ceiling and they move to the biggest plateau. And then when they move to the biggest plateau, most of the time they don't come back. But we got to get away from this idea like we don't know why this is happening. We know why this is happening. And I'm tired of folks trying to pretend. Yes, they shouldn't have guns on the streets, but at the same time, our young people are getting the guns from the streets. Yes, our babies should be more equipped, but here's the reality is most of these rappers that talk that gangster shit, when the gangster shit pop off, they're not even prepared for the gangster shit to pop off. There ain't as many as I've seen that when it pops off, they're going back and forth shooting. They just are sitting ducks because they even believe in their own mind that they have a level of invincibility, and they don't. So we have to get outside of this way of thinking that it's always a problem with them when the problem with us lies within. And to be honest with you, Queen, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It got to do with the communities inside checking their own. We can help facilitate. But they more or less don't even like us coming in telling them anything to do because they feel they got it. And if they feel killing is going to work, we've been doing that for thousands of years now, and we still at the same place in our black community. Ain't nobody won. And what they end up doing is jailing a whole bunch of motherfuckers, a whole bunch of caskets, a whole bunch of gentrification afterwards. Because if you Negroes' lives don't matter to you, why the hell should it matter to me? And to me, that has always been a degree that I've argued that if we don't take self-accountability, then they will never do it with us cold-heartedly. Don't be fooled by what's happening today with this Black Lives Matter symbolic gestures of progress bullshit. It will die out soon enough. Trust me. But we have to understand that if we don't speak the truth, and if we don't pour in life, love, power, energy to these people, these young people, these parents who perpetuate this madness, some of our kids don't even have a chance and the opportunity because they've been indoctrinated in this lifestyle that for whatever reason, they feel is going to take them to the top. I think that we need to look at the cleansing in our community and know that not everyone's going to be coming with us. And not all of these babies that are dying are babies. They have become monsters. And not even become monsters, but they've come in line with believing that this mechanism and this behavior of destruction, not giving a damn about nobody but their clique, their crew, their set, their street, their gang has taken over their sensibility. If we can't start lining up those conversations and stop praising their death, instead of denouncing their death and the behavior of what brought their death and led to it, and start looking at these young men instead of them getting the alcohol, the marijuana to subdue them, to desensitize them, let them know this can happen to them just as well. And stop creating these funerals as a celebration of life, because that ain't no celebration to me.
It's real talk.
These motherfuckers are dying, and they don't need to die. And if they don't die, they're wishing for someone else to die before them. So we can't celebrate a life, and you can't keep on telling us these good parts of these young children when we're looking at all the bad. And that's not saying that these young people don't have some kind of heart, don't kind of have some kind of love. I know that. We all have that, because when I watch this young man running for his life, he wasn't the big gangster that was talking about, I'm going to always be strapped, I'll never get caught slipping, I'm going to bang back at the ops. He's running for his life. You know that there is some humanity. There is that fear, not this effort, I'm going out like a soldier. It wasn't that old dog shit that you see in the movie. And right. If for sure as hell wasn't what he was saying in his song, you saw, goddamn, this motherfucker wants to live. Because if it wasn't, he would have just laid down and that, y'all got me. Do what you need to do. he wanted to live. And to be honest with you, if 2 beautiful babies ain't enough to live for, if seeing death and wanting better for your people ain't enough to live for, again, I say to my sister and myself who work on the front lines of a lot of this shit, us mentoring, flowing them with love will do nothing to save any of these young people, because it has to come to them from themselves. Because if there's not enough examples of how this ends up, and if you feel that you're that invincible, that untouchable, the most folks who feel like that will be the ones that get touched. And I look at, when we talk about Father's Day, I look at the lack of fathers. I look at the mothers that kind of, might parade, but try to embrace, because I know a lot of us as parents, we want to embrace decisions that our children are making. But I also want to stand on the standpoint of when we don't denounce behavior in the beginning of our adolescence and the beginning of our child's transformation and development, their child's development, continuing to bring them about elements, we become the issue. We then become the problem. I am on these kids' asses, and I don't make it polite. I have stepfathered, I have uncled many a child outside of my own. And to look at my own daughter who went to a school in the midst of the chaos. I'm around her friends. I'm in her shit. I'm on her social media. Matter of fact, you can't have social media. It is a directive. So if you fail, my daughter, it won't be on the account of me. And some of the failures of our children, it isn't on the account of the system. It's on the account of the main system that our children should have. That's the family establishment, as well as that community establishment. And we can no longer keep hiding from our truth. If we believe that there's another way that these kids will go, we're looking at this. We'll take some of the comments. I'm looking at some of that stuff. If we keep on turning our backs and keep on saying the kids don't have this, the kids don't have that, if we ain't starting in the household, if we ain't starting in the environment, you know what I'm saying, and building them up from that ground level, we are sadly mistaken, y'all. We sadly mistaken. We doing this shit all wrong. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Before a lot of this violence happened, again, repeatedly in this community, me and my colleagues, we did a citywide press conference. This is before George Floyd blew up. This is before the George Floyd thing hit Sacramento, to where we really started, going in and doing the major protest. This was actually 2 days before the major protest started happening in Sacramento. But we also said about a ceasefire in our community. And we're talking about that because we felt the volume, the energy felt different. Now, did it fall on deaf ears? Probably so. Because you had 2 days of looting and rioting and doing whatever. After that, it seemed like the truce was over and niggas got active. We did a march, a healing march, a citywide healing march. Why? Not only because we felt that we need to, but secondly, we decided we wanted to make sure community knows we stand with you. We're here to support you. We've been here. Northside had one, Sacside had one. We collectively connected it. And at the end of the day, the people that showed up are the people that showed up. But half the people that was talking shit didn't show up. I heard from a colleague, there was some misinformed individual that claims they're a leader that was talking about there's nobody doing anything. And of course they took it down because they was just talking bullshit. But leaders like myself, my organization is Voice of the Youth. Your organization is Earth Mama Healing. We've been doing this. We've been doing the work when it wasn't the work. There's organizations that are constantly doing it. And we don't get enough funds to do the most work we could possibly do. Some of us don't have enough decent facilities to do the work so we can be right at the ground level of all the chaos. But every day we work our ass off to prevent the violence. So we don't want to hear nobody talking about there ain't people stepping in. Motherfuckers is stepping in every goddamn day, and we're tired. I'm more tired of this shit than the other shit. I can deal with white supremacy. Been dealing with it all my life.
Me too.
I know how to maneuver through that shit. I'm just going to build and create my fucking own. But it becomes black people that becomes my biggest adversaries. I've had more black people attack me. I've had more black people denounce me. I've had more black people slander me. I've had more black people hate on me for my efforts of what I'm doing for my community. And Barry Axius, yes, I'm saying it, Barry Axius is at every forefront of every goddamn thing that happens in this community. Any goddamn thing, I'm in the fucking forefront. So you don't tell me how and what I shouldn't or where I need to be. You don't denounce leadership that's in forefront, background, and everywhere. You ask yourself, what are you doing to stop the problems that we have?
You gotta get yourself a fan, Barry.
All that bullshit, cut all that shit out.
Yeah, get yourself a fan, though, Barry. Get yourself a fan. You look hot over there, brother.
I'm just saying, sis. I'm at funerals. I'm at vigils. I'm in these dangerous locations. And I'm not saying just myself personally, but when I'm getting attacked or my other brothers and sisters who are doing the work on an everyday basis.
Right on.
I do not want to hear ignorance from people that will not even line themselves up to do the work even halfway the way we do.
Right on.
So bottom line, if we don't look in the mirror of ourselves and start asking ourselves, what do we want our legacy to be? It becomes a problem with us, nobody else.
Right on.
So stop crying and create this idea. And family, don't allow these ignorant people who sometimes come to try to add more fuel to the fire and pretend like nobody's doing anything. For 2 years in Sacramento, for 2 years in Sacramento, for 2 damn years in Sacramento, there was not one youth homicide. And that's because of people like Mama Ro. That's because of people like Les Simmons. That's because of people like Jackie Rose. That's because of people like Advanced Peace. That's because of a coalition like Black Child Legacy. That's because of people like Greg King. That's because of people like Timothy Poole. That's because of people in schools that like Miss Stocksdale that really kept pulses on what's actually happening to bring other people inside to do the work. That's because of people like Daryl Roberts. These are because of people like 21 Reasons. It's because of people that turned their pain into a game. Nicole Clavo. It's because of people like that. And whether I agree with all of the ingenuity that some of these people have, I agree that we are all trying to make sure our kids are safe, our communities are safe and intact. But don't you dare try to pretend like there is not real work, like we have not been in these places, that we have not been in these funerals, that we have not been in these vigils, that we haven't been in these hot spots. Personally, even before there was organizations, my brother Diedrich and my brother Freddie, who was getting groomed by me and Les, we would sit there and we would create these ideas to see what change would look. So we helped bring a situation like Advanced Peace to help galvanize some of the work. That Advanced Peace helped brothers and sisters. We've created things like the community pop-up that so many of you Negroes want to denounce, but how many of you Negroes who are doing this work are giving our young people jobs? That's important. People like Dana Maisha, my team of Team Voices of Youth. Like, let's be very clear and let's be very honest on what's going on and what's happening. There are great people doing the work. Queen Shona with her program. And excuse me if I've forgotten some of those folks. But those are the people and individuals, when it comes down to big day of giving, you Negroes ain't giving. So if you want to talk about something happening, it becomes, why are we being funded the way? So don't argue and tell us about how when we got to go over there to get the money from our oppressor, because you Negroes don't have the time to go do that part. You have the time to complain when we go try to pull a maneuver from our oppressor to get a few bits of money to keep encouraging our community to stay lifted. I don't want to hear shit from you unless you are going and saying, how can I donate? I can't help, but I can donate. I don't want to hear shit. I'm tired of the games that people want to play, because any dollar I get, positioning myself to go get it from the oppressor, from our tax dollars, and first off, I make sure that is keeping young people safe. I am employing young people. I am encouraging young people. So unless you people want to come do the work,
of course not.
The boxing work, the traumatizing work that we do, when we finally have to work with young people, that one person that we work with, the young person we're grooming, if we get a phone call, that young person got killed by accident or by purpose. You tell me, are you ready mentally to still have to find a way to strategize through the pain? So this is a clear note to any of the haters. Go give it to them. That's talking all that bullshit or talking all that aggressive shit like Negroes ain't doing something. I ask you this, then go do it. Then go do it. Because we aren't doing the good enough job, then go do it. Because my sister's 30 plus years is not good enough. My 20 plus years is not good enough. So go do it. Do it yourself. And continue to keep applauding death. Continue to keep celebrating and pretending all these babies that are dying are just precious, poor, oh my God, unfortunate, didn't mean no harm babies. No, some of our children are asking for death. And we have to be honest with that. And until we're honest with that, and until we're ready to look death in the eye, that person that either bestows death on himself or bestows death on someone else that looks like them, constructively, how many of you black people who talk all that black violence on women, how many of y'all have donated to She Could Be My Daughter? How many of you have donated to Earth Mama Healing? People, I'm not just talking about weed. People that are actually doing the work with young people, black girls.
Yep.
I don't want to hear that shit. Don't want to hear none of that shit. Because niggas have been doing what they need to do. But it gets tiresome when you continue to fight the beast battle and you continue to fight the community battle. And not only you can fight those battles, you fight the battle within. It gets tiring. So I don't want to hear no more shit. I excuse my rant. My brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? But that becomes the reality. Because the people I've named have been some of the most consistent stewards of change, vessels of support. And for those who know and are showing a lot of love, I don't ever try to do any of the work I do, because some haters say, oh, if you're doing the work, don't put it on. Every time I put it on, put pictures up, I'm showing examples of change. I'm showing what it looks like, transition, what it looks like when we come together. I'm trying to give a different norm, because see, most of you Negroes are still pressing like, love, and all that other shit, sharing the bullshit. How many videos did you share about these brothers that have just died? Huh? Because you're going to promote them, because you want them to get up to be where they at, right? How many of y'all done shared death? How many of y'all done shared ignorance? So we must be there to be the alternative. So hell yeah, I'm going to put all the shit that I'm doing, motherfucker. You're goddamn right. Because you Negro put out the bullshit. So I have to give the alternative to the young people. I have to give the alternative to the adults that want to see something different, because we see too much of this shit and we celebrate it all the time. So we as a people, as we move forward, ask yourself, don't call out where the leader's at. All folks can't be leaders, so I'm not going to say, why aren't you becoming a leader? I'm just going to say, where's your effort at? Where are you at? How can you be helpful? What do you want to do to change this? What are you doing to elevate our people? But don't you ever in your life question how we do things and how we have to do things. If you ain't put a dime, or all you've done is bring your child to get support, and if something happens that you don't like, slander somebody because you don't like it. You understand what I'm saying? Because ain't no person, Monroe and myself, I speak for both parties. Whenever at the oppression table, we are never talking about being oppressed. We are talking about liberation. And whatever we get, when we maneuver to get what we need to get for our community, we bring it right back. So any contract, anything, all the conversation remains the same. Black first. It ain't never nothing different. So listen to some of those folks that want to even, think like, nah, it's always 100. That's why we still can't get our way into the gate, because the gatekeepers don't want niggas like us inside.
Well, Barry, I also think we got to look at, first of all, diddle to your whole rant, because it was knowledge that needed to be shared. And sometimes you got to let people know, I see your ass. I see you. I see you. Straight up. But I also think, Barry, most of us are infected. We're talking about bringing in a new world and system change, and we know that means us. We ain't just talking about white people that are in positions of power. We're talking about you and where you live at and how you govern in your own space. Because if you've been infected by this disease called America, what you willing to do to get that disease out of your body, out of your psyche? If you're really walking around here thinking you got privilege because you 2 generations out of the poorhouse, we be on some shit, Barry. We be on some real shit. We really be on some stuff. And if we're not willing to look at that, somebody here, Pitt, I'm starting with the woman in the mirror. That's where all of this shit started. So if you feel like you better than somebody because you went to college and got a degree, that don't mean shit. Because degree people are some of the most laziest people I've ever met in my life. I'm not gonna lie. The people who I've seen pull the hardest work I've ever seen, who are people who've never even been to college.
Facts.
People who built shit for real. And I don't know if because they haven't been as infected. Because infected, that's a word we gotta all look at. And some of us, we feel like, well, I paid all of this money. Like we start going into our ego because you thought you were going to spend 4 years reading a book while somebody spent those 4 years hard labor. Who do you think is really qualified?
Facts.
I'm listening to the mayor's plan on how we can divert some of this money from the police department. And if it's to hire more infected Negroes to answer calls, that's a waste. We don't need no social workers answering calls. We don't need no psychotherapists, the rapists. We don't need that because they're infected too. You want the school to learn from people who are crazy as shit, who basically covers all of this psychotherapy shit, and then you want to come help other people, but you have been infected. So how you gonna help me be infected? And I'm not saying you can't get no education and better yourself, but most of us don't debrief. We don't go get something from the white man like other cultures do, bring it back to their community, and they say, take this, and this, throw all that other shit out. Because that other shit is your culture. You're going to put that into play. But we don't do that. We really think, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I know some shit. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. You are infected. I was like, we don't even know where we have white people right now. We don't even know where we have them at right now. Because you end up feeling good and instant gratification. Can't leave that part out, Barry.
Not at all.
Everybody got little stimulus monies from other places and shit like that. How many of y'all pulled that money with somebody else? How many of y'all bought even a piece of property that you could have built with somebody else? How many of y'all did that? Most of you niggas walking around in your nice ass cars and your cookouts and because we're infected. I don't know what you can do to get us well. You can't ask the therapist, the rapist. You can't ask them. Social workers, most of them motherfuckers is crazy. No disrespect, but they are, because you're in a system where you can't do shit. Because all you gonna come back and tell me, well, you know, the white man. I don't give a fuck about the white. How you think we survived American slavery and white supremacy? Do you really think we waited on these people? Did you really think Harriet Tubman said we're gonna wait till after the harvest to leave? I mean, come on. Hey, $1,200 is something to somebody who didn't have it.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You could have took that money, Sister Tina, and act like you didn't have it.
Yeah.
And put it to something else. Did we build? Because I come from a people who never got that kind of money and still build shit and own shit.
Talk to me.
See, we forget that. I'm not trying to do white people. I'm not trying to get a gazillion-dollar grant. That shit ain't going. If I waited for the grant money, I wouldn't have shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we waited for grant money, the work that we've done, like, here's the fact.
And I get reparations. I get the reparations. But I said, start with what you have.
Yeah.
Start with what you have.
Here's the fact. You and I just started getting some real contracts in what, the last maybe 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. Like
And
big money.
And we've been doing work for however long. I said 30 years, 20, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that in that whole idea of it, thank you for your rant.
Yeah.
It's just that it's, to me, we know, because we did Black Codes. We're going to be doing another one July 5th. For folks, this is about our building process. We did Black Codes, and we were talking about the protesting. The next Black Codes, which will be July 5th from 3 to 6, 2251 Florin Road. Hopefully folks will come out, come support it. It's going to be, because what we found was funny. We were talking about what we was talking about, policing ourselves and then governing ourselves, right? So when a question was asked, I said, well, how many of y'all believe, we can police ourselves, right? And folks, out of like a room of 20-some people, only 2 people raised their hand. But when I said, how many of y'all believe we can govern ourselves, everybody rose their hand. So I'm like, well, how the fuck can we govern ourselves, but we can't police ourselves? Those things come hand in hand, and that becomes the problem. That I think we don't really realize how far we are off from really doing the work that needs to be done. Because governing and policing, they come hand in hand because of the structure of how we have to govern. Because what folks have to remember, as much as we want this panel right here, as it should, we have to create a similar projection, a more fair projection of what that system looks like. I mean, really, it's not necessarily the system, it's the unfairness of the system, how it does not include individuals like ourselves who are covered, because it was never designed for us to participate in this kind of way. Then we had, and I call him a special nigga. He was a lawyer. And in this kind of special nigga going into like PhD and professionals, knowing the room that you're in, you have to know what kind of information I'm going to let down. Now, out of the room, we probably had 4 youth in the room, right? And these 4 youth were the ages of 17 towards 20, right? Very polished in certain things. So the lawyer, who I didn't know what he was going to say, but because it was my OG brought him out, I said, all right, we building, talk to us. What he says, he starts talking about knowing your rights. And I'm like, well, this, in my head, I'm like, well, this is a youth kind of program that you're basically stating to us. And he inferred this idea of if Negroes knew their rights, most of the Negroes that got killed by police, that got killed by police brutality, they would have been able to survive the encounter. And again, special Negro shit. And I'm thinking in my head, Negro what? And it's about knowing your room, knowing your audience. Nobody, even if that was facts, nobody wants to hear that. Because for the last, I'm just saying, for at least the last 7 years, Negroes have watched Negroes die by police brutality in every goddamn kind of fucking way. I mean, in Walmart, toy gun, traffic stop, selling cigarettes, selling CDs, playing video games in your own house, eating ice cream in your own damn house. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas have watched every single way with your wife, with your kid. I mean, running from them, having a 45-minute conversation with them. We have watched every way. So who the hell are you to all of a sudden come to us and tell us some bullshit? And
that's because he's been infected. He's infected.
He's a special Negro. And then you try to tell us about a candidate that we should support. Don't even know the candidate's real name, first name, and then don't know the candidate, ain't even supporting the black candidate that we all trying to get behind. So it's like, nigga, stop with your special skills. And with niggas like that, I stated this. Niggas like you ain't never invested in programs like this, ain't never put your money, and at this particular time, that's all I want the special niggas to do. That's it. All these entertainers, all these so-called woke now celebrities and athletes, y'all niggas had your time and opportunity to have your great talking points. And it, all the stuff that you say sounds great. Niggas don't want to hear that shit. At least a nigga like me, I don't want to hear that shit. Just give me your money. Support my organization. Support her organization. Support the organizations doing the real work, the grassroots work, the work that everybody don't see. Not the organizations that just show up when niggas get killed by the police. Because I don't ever have, I be so tired of those organizations. Because them niggas be the worst. Y'all niggas talk all that black power shit. It ain't around nowhere else. And if any organization is going to talk about black lives before they talk about black power, I'm looking at you funny. Because the only thing that we should be talking about is black power. That's when they start really saying, let's rethink this. Because black power is giving our own to do for ourselves, separating from the social oppressive norms of this system, building our own shit, having our own governing body, having our own policing. That black power, where you know that Asian power, you know that Latino power, you know when you can go into communities and you're about sis. I never understood. I go to a Mexican, a more Latino area, and them Negroes all cook the same burrito, all cook the same taco. Sauce might be a little different, but it's all the same method. Negroes got about 10 of the same taquerios, all different names, all by different people, all in the same complex. You know what I'm saying, sis? Yeah. Holy. A nigga got to argue about having a Jamaican cuisine, like, oh man, that's too close to the other one. You know, the only place I've seen that happen is in Brooklyn. And you know, they try to gentrify Brooklyn, that you have a Caribbean, like, that's why I love Brooklyn.
But Caribbean's a whole on in Brooklyn, though. They hold on.
Like that thing, I swear, I thank God for Brooklyn when I go out there. I ain't even got to fight about finding some shit. I just go, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go over here. Right over here with these Negroes, we got one black restaurant, that's all we need. And that should be all the way down south, or that should be all the way in the north. But these motherfuckers have taquerias 2 blocks away from each other. Niggas making the same enchilada. Oh, this one got green, the other one got red. You know what I'm saying? So, what we talking about, I don't know about you other Negroes. I don't give a damn about racial equality and justice, because you can never ever be equal when we're superior. I'm gonna give you guys a real lesson. Black people are the superior people. I mean, just that's a fact.
Right on.
Black people are the superior. These are our children that have taken over the house.
Yeah.
It's almost like having that teenager that takes over for the adult because the adult is being too passive. Or we allow them to take the car out without having a license, and now they think it's a car. That's kind of really what happened. Power always reverts back to those who behind if they fight for it. So that's the kind of the trial. That's why they're trying to hold on to the power for so long. You do understand when we were Moorish people, we literally we not only socialized and we created civilization. We created and we made these people who are cavemen and didn't know how to bath. We civilized them.
Yeah, that's real talk, Barry.
We civilized them.
But now we look like the goddamn cavemen.
Like we look like us. That's why in school, like that, they was found up. They came and found up. They knew we've been here before. They come holler. Unfortunately, we've always had infighting with Negroes. This wasn't infighting where we killing each other like that. This is like, okay, Negro, we got your turf. You're gonna be a slave. You're not gonna be a slave. You're not gonna be enslaved, but you gonna, serve us.
Bow down, goddamn.
We gonna give a few of you Negroes off. We like the little toys that y'all bringing, but they wasn't going and taking motherfuckers that were just savages. They were taking architects and builders from other tribes that just got took over. They're like, okay, we're gonna bring them motherfuckers over here because we see what y'all built. So it's like the misconstrued perception of this reality of us saying Black Lives Matter. Why are we even saying that? You don't think your lives matter? And then we've allowed them to adopt it. And now we've adopted it. Well, let you start talking Black Power Matters. They're going to think you a racial entity. They're going to call reverse racism. They're going to say it's not about power. Mother, honey, it's always been about power. Our slave masters, who you call for the forefathers, our slave owner forefathers said, give me liberty or give me death. That's what they said. And that was about give me my power, right? It's power infrastructure. So stop, y'all, with this whole Black Lives Matter shit. And this is not, this new thing is not Black Lives Matter. This isn't about Black lives. This is about Black power. This is not about social justice. This is about economic justice. Let me be very clear. Because you can arrest all of those folks, reform that system, and we still are stuck in their system, still co-opting, still indulging, still giving all our intellectual properties for them to profit off of, giving them all our athletes for them to profit on, giving them all our entertainment value for them to profit off of us. So are we really talking about this, or are we talking about this economic and social curve that needs to be up? And then the thing about it, it's always been about power. So let's stop doing Black Lives Matter, Black Power Matter. Do I gotta be killing TI? Do I gotta be one of them niggas that you niggas are so impressed with that don't really do all for our community? Do I gotta be one of them niggas? Because I've been saying this shit. I gotta be one of them niggas. I gotta be early and say we need to be another, we need to own our own league. I said that in 2015.
You gotta be totally infected, Barry. You have to be infected to where the infection is coming all out your earlobes and shit. Like, for real, we are trolling this. We've been infected. And some of us are in love with the infection, and we don't know what to do when somebody come and they don't have as much of it because they've been working on getting the shit out of their body. So they don't know what to do with people like that. They really don't, honestly, Barry. They really don't. White people will probably have a little bit more ounce of respect for your ass if they see you doing for self. They may not like it, but God damn it, they gotta respect it.
Most definitely.
And that's what our ancestors did that some of us are not doing now. Like, you may not have wanted to cut them in and you see them going to get their own, you gotta respect it. That don't mean you gotta like them. Because I don't want you to like me. I just want you to give me my goddamn respect. That's all I want. You ain't got to like me at all. You really don't. But it's a respect issue. You know what I mean? Which has everything to do with power. And you're absolutely correct. But I think most of these Negroes, this is another thing. You have a lot of Negroes that's protesting, but don't protest no fucking soap and water. They don't protest cleaning up their own goddamn community. They don't protest making their community safe. You up here marching and motherfuckers are blowing themselves away in the middle of our ghettos. Well, go march and protest there. Go walk up and down those steps. Go, y'all so fucking gangster. Go talk to them gangbangers.
They're gonna know, you know what they're gonna do, sis? They're gonna march on the Capitol. That's what they're gonna do.
They go what?
They're not gonna march in the communities. They're gonna march in the Capitol. They're gonna march where none of these niggas is, because you can't come over there talking all that shit to these niggas. That's why these motherfuckers don't want to work with these Negroes. That's why. You can't go over there yapping that shit to niggas like that. Who's caught in? Who's infected?
But you gonna do that to white people though. See that's what I don't understand. You want the white racist cop to do something different.
Yeah.
Right? You want him to resign. Why don't you go to the hood and ask the gangbangers to resign? Because, and don't tell me because your money pays their salary. Don't nobody give a fuck about that.
Because I'm gonna tell you, sis, that's why niggas talk about police. They didn't raise their hand. Because if we police ourselves, you do know. Gangbanger. They right there. Let's be ready for that. The child molester still there. Mr. Pedophile still there. Dope Queen Sally and dope dealer John is still there.
Real talk.
Trust me. You know, Pimpy Doo, he's still there.
Pimpy Doo.
Pimpy Doo is still there.
Damn, Barry.
The prostitute named Samantha, she's still there. So we gonna have to holler at them like, hey, can we have a meeting? They'll be like, what's going on? Police ain't here. We gonna get it now, y'all. Like, nah, we can't do that here no more. What you mean? So that's what I'm talking to say. Niggas have been so infected by the disease. That's all. So you talk about, and trust me, I'm with all the defunding of the police, but understand what some of that means, and understand why I say reallocating funds. I'm not saying dismantle all the way, because I know we're not ready yet.
Right.
Because we have to, in order for us to get ready, we got to start doing that stuff now, and we ain't doing that stuff now. And if we are, we ain't doing a great enough job on it. I'm just being honest. Because if these can't leave their own household and want to blame, you know what? The best parent is a parent that's accountable. My brother, one of my brothers who just did a 10-year period, and he said, bro, I pray for my children every night. He said, but if something happens to one of them because of the lifestyle they live, I know I helped bring that faith to them because of all the shit that I've done. I'm now trying to get back and clear up all that stuff. He knows he has to take accountability. Right on. And I loved when he told me that, because that gave me the strength to continue to say the stuff that I'm saying that people don't want to hear. Where does the accountability come from you? Where does it happen? It can't be, oh yeah, well, I tried having a mentor program, whatever like that. How are you looking? I know my lifestyle, my daughter is something totally different than a lifestyle that I live at the age she is. And I know that I had to do that for myself. If I wasn't going to be with one woman, I'm not going to have no woman live with me. I'm like, okay, we ain't going to do that. I'm just going to have my daughter see me and with her mom. It's just going to be us. I'm not going to have no alcohol in the crib. Ain't going to be no weed. Niggas ain't coming in back and forth to my crib. I'm not talking to any other people. That just wasn't what it was. And if I can't go, guess what? I can't go. I can't hang out with the niggas. No babysitter. That's just what it is. And I think that we have to come to that resolution somehow. That also leads to newfound blackness. Do you feel that we're going to have the same energy that we did with Juneteenth on the 4th of July?
Well, I don't know what energy we had on Juneteenth in Sacramento, because I wasn't here. I did see a lot of last minute, let's do some marches and shit like that, which means they was not thinking about Juneteenth. Let's just be honest. A lot of last minute shit, because it's the time and it's what's happening right now in the country. I think most niggas is gonna go to a barbecue. I think they're gonna slack some ribs on the grill. I think they're gonna be living their best fucking life, because Black people have short-term memory, and our history and our root don't mean shit to most Black people. We live for right now. There is a culture of disrespecting old people. I've seen it. I had to check motherfuckers, let them know I'm older, but I was still getting your ass. So my thing is, I come from a culture where you respect elders. I don't know about old motherfuckers, but elders, I come from a culture where you respect them because they gave up a lot for you. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen a lot of old motherfuckers too that just kind of thinking we back in 1962 doing some shit. And it's like, we in 2020, like what the fuck is wrong with you? So I think this newfound blackness, if that's what you want to call it, I don't even think it's blackness. I think it's like, I'm the flavor of the month right the fuck now. It's like being the flavor of the month. Because, you know, next month pecan will be in. And then next month they be back to vanilla or whatever the fuck. But I feel like right now we're in the flavor of the month. As black people, we're the flavor because we want other people to think our lives matter when it's very clear that our lives don't matter to black people as a black person. You know, that's the most scariest shit. It's like you want white people. I can't tell you, I go walking every morning, Barry, them motherfucking white people, I be having my headsets on, getting in there and listening to Lil Kweli and all them, and motherfucking white people be like this and shit, like, hey, hi, good morning, hey. You know, these motherfuckers know something is up, but you know, you still got black people on the trail act like they don't see your fucking ass.
Damn.
They see you coming, they do this shit here, like, bitch, hey, you know, hey, how you doing? Like, you know, like, why the fuck am I still getting black people to recognize my ass? And white people's all like this because they know that we're in a time that if they was us, these are the Game of Thrones descendants, motherfuckers. White people will burn some shit up and burn themselves up just to make a point. These motherfuckers, I'll tell you this, Barry, when I was down south, I guess they had talked about moving some kind of Confederate statue. And you know, these white people got on like a Facebook page and was like, they could come if they fucking wanna, because we coming with our guns. We're going to defend our fucking statue. And I said to myself, this is some deep shit. Because when white people really value something, clearly that's theirs. They're going to fucking kill you and fight you for it.
Yeah.
They're not going to say, please don't tear down our fucking statue. They're not even going to put no P on that motherfucker. They're not even going to say the word. So that's what black folks got to get to. It's kind of like, I don't think it's a newfound blackness. I think it's we the flavor of the month. And next month is going to be another flavor.
So,
because,
and to make a long story short, niggas is going to be popping fireworks on July 4th.
Yeah, they popping the shit right now. You don't hear them goddamn fireworks? I'm like, what the fuck? These fireworks, you know that they got from China some damn where because they don't even make shit like that.
Yeah. And
you know
one of our family members is like, what happened to the Juneteenth fireworks? Were there Juneteenth fireworks down south?
Well, you know what? They have Juneteenth. Well, where I was, because Javon.
No, so they have fireworks. They have fireworks.
Oh, for 4th of July?
For Juneteenth down there.
They did where I was in Louisiana. I don't know no other place that's doing fireworks on Juneteenth. I don't know. Like the way you would see the fireworks on the 4th of July. By the fact where they only do fireworks like 3 times a year. One is for the 4th of July. One is for St. Patrick's Day, and there's some other shit day or some shit around pirates and some shit.
Yeah.
Those are 3 times they do fireworks. So this is like that was, and they threw all kind of roadblocks. But you know, Jay was going right through the motherfuckers. Because so for her, white people don't bother her. They really don't. I mean, they fucks with her, but she used to that because when you're in a war, you expect for the opposition to be at war with you. Yeah. What you don't be factoring is the niggas on your back. That's what the fuck you don't be. The black folks behind you that want to fight you, they're the motherfuckers you're not expecting because you over here fighting the people in front of you like your opposition, your clear opposition, not the people behind you like, I'm down for black people, but I want white people to tell me and not black people. I want white people to value me because I don't really, and that's the shit we can't even have a discussion on.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's just kind of like, that's the shit that'll wear your ass out. I don't think people get tired of fighting their open enemy. I think they get tired of fighting the enemies that's supposed to be on the same team. That's what wears your ass out.
Yep. Yeah. Because you're fighting too many battles.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. That shit hurts, Queen. Well,
yeah, it does. I make them stick to me. I was like, hey, you know, hey, I just, you know, but the white people be breaking their neck because they know we in a time that if they was us, they'd have been to tore this place up.
Oh, for sure.
But let's be honest, because they tore it up to take the shit illegally. You know they're taking it. They thought they was really rightfully theirs.
Yeah, and then you got to remember, to get here, they tore it up, and then when the other group that was with them to tear it up decided they wanted to get out of them, they did what they needed to do to tear it up. And we were used in every form.
They couldn't have won none of these things if we wasn't in it.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's real talk, Barry.
We was in every formality of getting this country in both parts. And now it's time for us to do it for ourselves. I just know that I hope and I pray And I don't want to hear the sensitivity from individuals who believe that, you know, folks who have been at this plateau a little bit longer than others are belittling them. Because you niggas all knew something was wrong. Y'all was just happy with being culturally connected to European ideology.
Say that again, Barry.
You know, y'all was just excited to be, you know, connected to European ideology and all the support it gave. Don't allow this to be a trend. Don't just celebrate the 4th of July in a way where it's significant. If you're gonna barbecue, shit, barbecue on the damn 3rd. You know what I'm saying? But I've been done with these European.
Did you see Barry?
I'm just saying. So we have to be in a place to where if we are really going to make waves, our exodus has to be the wave. We have to create that exodus that transforms into us saying, really, enough is enough. You're not going to get us back. And again, as I always like to say, we've been in a domestic violence relationship with America, and it's time for us to pack our bags and just go.
Get the hell out of here.
It's not saying you can never go to some of the white spots. It was so funny. We were having me and lunch, and they brought some food that was supposed to be black, and that shit was so bland, so filled with whiteness. Well, I don't want to talk about the I don't want to dog them. But that just explains why I say what I say. Like, you want to bland your flavor. Black people, we got flavor. Ain't no reason to be bland. You know what I'm saying?
So
We've been made with spices and herbs and good seasonings. And it's not high cholesterol or all of this. Nah, that's what they do. Like, we got to take back everything. Let them adapt to us. They are children.
Barry?
I mean, just saying, they are kids.
They're kids. I think that's why I don't be bothered like that. I'd be like, well.
They are children, gone astray. We just allow them to take over the household. So now we got to take it back. But I hope that in this Wakanda moment that we in, we realize that there's things that we have to do. And I want everybody to get this Bible, the Black Bible. It's called, hold on, let me go grab the Black Bible.
Okay, go ahead. Barry gonna go grab his book he want us to all get. If you're just joining us, you're watching Just Being Honest, connecting with the Black experience with me, Rolanda Wilkins, Mama Ro, and Brother Barry Axius. And we're talking today just about Juneteenth, Blackness, Black folks, just doing us, basically. What you got, Barry?
You know what's so funny? It's like we come with these sporadic moments. Wakanda forever came, a fictitious land. But in reality, you know what they did? The messaging that they put, they were telling you about Rosewood. They were telling you about the Harlem Renaissance. They were telling you about Black Wall Street. That was Wakanda. That's what they were doing. But y'all don't really get that. He was saying, Negroes, we had it before. This is what it was. That was what Wakanda was. It's been here before. I don't think y'all got it. Y'all have to be like, oh man, that Wakanda. Y'all saying it and not believing it. You have to understand it was here.
Right on.
They wanted to separate it. We had our own states. And I said on a post, can we get back to that Black Wall Street feeling? And knowing I'm in the battle of the beast. Like, remember, I don't know if you was on the conversation when I said it. I think you got off. I think you might have had something else to do.
I did.
But I said I'm hearing about all these different investments, commissions, and I kind of added on to some of the things folks was and chiming in and agreeing. But I said what I'm really here for is for that major investment in the Black community. That investment with the creation of Black innovation. I'm driving through all these areas in the South with land occupied, facilities that have not been occupied for years. We need those so we can do our own thing. That's what I say. We don't really want like all these things are good. And I told the man, we gotta go back to what I asked you in 2016. Before you became a mayor, what is the investment you're doing for the black community? Not this racial justice, these commission teams. Fuck all of that shit. We want our own shit. That's it. I even gave them the idea that we've been talking about. The multicultural center, the studio apartments on the top, businesses, incubators on the bottom, like a multi-purpose room, you know what I'm saying? All of these little intangibles that are going to bring. And I said, guess what? We're doing it at the African Health 2251. And it has had no government help at all. I said, we've been doing it for the last 5-some years. And I say that as a collective, even though there have been black folks that have been all in that facility all the time, but collectively in the last 5, maybe I'll give 6 years. So I say, like, we know how we can do it. We just need the things to make it happen. Because at that time, once we get that, we don't even what the police for. We telling them to get out of here.
Right on.
We had one police officer come to any of our events, and we've had plenty of events at that damn facility. But I say it's undermanaged, it's out of date, and we need something that's nuanced. And I also challenge them with the Renaissance in downtown has to be a Renaissance in the black community. So that's what I'm on. All that other shit, yes, I want it, but if I can choose, give me the power. Give me the access to be able to create. Then I'll be able to live like that. So, from Amos Wilson, for those who don't know, Amos Wilson, you are a black person. You are a black person who has found this new motivation of black. Understand places and things that we're reading. And I know, sis, you could probably give them maybe a few documentaries before we go. The blueprint of black power. This is the black Bible for any black person that is ready, in tune. These are the manuscripts. This is what you need to have as your collection if you don't have it. If you want to know and understand why we are where we are, how we think on a moral standpoint, a political standpoint, an economic standpoint. This is not us being what that dumb Negro say, Terry Crews, black supremacist. This is about black empowerment. Black supremacy sounds stupid because at the end of the day, black people having our own does not mean that we are going to sell people to don't come. This is a black power. This is the black Bible. Get out of that holy Bible. Get to this Bible. This is survival. I'm going to actually, with Dana, all things Lucy, Dana Aisha, we're actually going to come together. I'm going to go get like at least 15 or 20 of these books for people that come to the next Black Hole. I'm buying this free of charge, giving it to folks. If you want to donate something that's positive, that's cool, I got it. But I'm giving it to people. You show up, they'll give you a book. But we need people to start getting into the know and understanding that it can be us. It's our responsibility, though. And the last book that I love checking out,
Marcus Garvey.
Of our builder, Marcus Garvey, that introduced the RPG flag, the only flag that we should be representing as black people, because it creates a collective of all of our black continents and countries, smaller or bigger, and our own flag here in America. It puts us all together. So I know niggas love to fly a rainbow flag and fly the American flag and every other flag, the only flag, and if you want to talk about flag rising, put an RPG flag on the Capitol. Let's have that happen for a whole month. Let's do that. This right here is another Bible, another book, ideas, theology that y'all should have. So
right on. He said the author. Somebody's asking you a question, Barry, about the title of the author piece.
Amos Wilson.
Okay. Right on.
Amos Wilson, love. Amos Wilson. Niece, I got you. Amos Wilson.
Right on. And then somebody else said they need one too. So
Yeah.
very good, very good.
This is the thing. If we want to be geared in a reality, and if we were true revolutionary, and you don't got that kind of ideology, terms, we ain't talking the same language. We just
I also shared the documentary from YouTube, the story of Marcus Garvey, so people can know who he is. Because here's the thing, and I'm down with that blueprint for Black Power. I totally get it. But we got to make sure in that blueprint that the people who are harnessing that power have some love and respect for Black and African people.
Yes.
Because we do have Black people who got some power in this country, but they don't love us. I'm just gonna have to be honest. So it's kind of like we be looking at the Bob Johnsons and we be looking at the Obamas, and them people, they don't love us. Like none of them clear shit for us for real.
They don't love ourselves. They don't love Black women.
You better say
they
that.
Don't love anything Black except how Black can profit for them. And they'll use Black with Black issues, but they'll never ever support Black enterprises.
Right on. That's what I mean by that. Because we've always had the power to a degree, Barry. Because we were forced to work with each other, especially during segregation. But something happened with this latest style of Negroes where they had some power and some money, but they did not love Black people. Like when they got in office, like everybody else could get something, Obama, but Black people gotta wait. How the fuck does that happen? Why we gotta wait? But you can help the letter people, you can help immigrants, you can help everybody, but the Black people. Why we gotta wait?
The letter
that
people.
Mean you don't love us. That means you don't love us.
The letter people were they were, and how they did it.
They were still also white people too. They were white men.
Here's the thing. The letter people had people on the inside that were already part of the letter coalition that was quiet. You didn't know they were part of the letter boys and girls. And then you had people on the forefront, the advocates, that seemed like they were the crazy nuance with this idea, not knowing the letter people on the inside were hyping up their battery, right? And then they had the letter people in the high octane positions, like got the Hollywood money, got the athlete money that was pouring in to their lobbying and their campaign and their ideology and their structure. And this is all the same thing Black people do. And guess what? We just don't do it.
But hold on. I'm gonna say diddle, diddle, diddle. But the one thing, because we have all that too, Barry. We have all of that too. Yes. But what they have is that they have whiteness. They have white supremacy. Because if there was a bunch of gay Black men and lesbian Black women, they wouldn't have got shit out of Obama.
No.
Obama gave it to him because it's some white men.
Yep.
That's why. Shit, we've been on we always been in that goddamn White House. We ain't been president. We've been sweeping floors and cleaning toilets. Black people, we built the goddamn White House.
Yeah.
And we still couldn't get shit because you want to tell me that's that infected Negro talking. Well, we got to make sure I can't do nothing my first term because I won't get back into the second term. That's infected Negro shit. Then we got his ass back in there and he still ain't give us shit. Get the fuck out of here. I can't do it. I can't do this.
Oh, man. Oh, snap. That stuff is crazy.
All right, we wrap it up, Barry.
So we got the new word, infected Negroes.
Oh, yes. Infected Negroes. That should be key for people. When a nigga's infected, he can't help you. It's like that dog when he get the rabies. You can't do shit with the dog when he been, what they call it? He get what's that movie, Kojo or whatever that movie is?
Yeah.
Rabies, and he out in the daytime or some shit. It's like those people.
Listen, infected Negroes. You got the special Negroes, and this was a special show. Welcome back home, my sister. Remember, y'all. I'm gonna put it up on my feed. July 5th, like I said, I'm gonna give free things. Folks are gonna be hitting me up. Also, please check Black Blueprints with a Z, blackblueprintswithaz.com. We got the new gear, blackblueprintswithaz.com. Support your Black businesses and and please add Earth Mama Network. And please add on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We need y'all support. like, add. This is how you support. We're soon going to put something to do a hashtag with monies and all that other type stuff. So, you know, you're going to be able to donate to our cause because everybody else is doing that. So we got to make sure that we on our business end doing that as well because it's important. I know folks want to kind of help move us and navigate us a little bit further. So peace, family. See you next Tuesday, and always be honest.
Right on. Hold on, brother. We getting there.